Hey, what's going on, family? This is Brandon with Taylor's Fine Smoke Cooking. Welcome back into my kitchen. Today we are going to whip up a delicious bowl of beef and noodles. This is not your traditional beef and noodles, but it's a very good recipe we really enjoy, and I think you will too. Stick around. Let's go ahead and get into it. As far as our ingredients, we have a 1.5 pound bottom round roast that we're going to cut and cube ourselves. You know I like to save money. We have onion, green pepper. We have some chicken stock, or you can use whatever kind of stock you want, onion and garlic powder, black pepper, kosher salt, beef bouillon, cream of mushroom soup, and French onion soup. And of course, we're using Amish egg noodles, some of my favorites. And I may and may not add some vegetables, some carrots, peas, and corn. So again, I told you I'd prefer the roast. The roast is always cheaper than the stew meat a lot of the time, so buy the roast and just cut it yourself. So we're just gonna take some of this fat off, remove it, all the pieces that you're not gonna need. We're gonna get a lot of the fat from the center in a minute as well. And all I'm doing, I'm gonna cut these into 3/4 by 3/4 chunks. To me, that's just the perfect size for this particular dish. Now, if you want them a little bigger, you can cut them a little thicker or bigger. But if you want them small, you can do that as well. But like I said, I'm just going about 3/4 by 3/4 cubes for our beef and noodles. And this is about what you want. So like I said, 3/4 by 3/4 would be good to go. So we've got our meat all cubed up. Let's get it browned. What I want to do, I want to brown this meat off a little bit to get a little color, to get a little flavor down in this pot, you know, before we add our liquid and things to it. So just got a little bit of vegetable oil that I'm putting here at the bottom. And we're just checking to make sure that the oil is hot, and it's definitely hot. And we're just gonna throw our meat in there. What you wanna do though, you don't wanna have your meat sitting on top of one another if you can help it. So make sure when you put it inside your pot or your Dutch oven or your skillet or whatever you're using, that you're able to spread it around. That way you can get it browned on all the sides before you move on. Again, this was a 1.5 pound roast that I've just broken down and cubed up. All right, halfway through browning up your meat, you're gonna go ahead and season it lightly with a little kosher salt, sea salt, whatever you have. We're gonna season it with our black pepper, our onion powder, and our garlic powder, just to get some flavor up in there. And we're gonna make sure that we continue to stir it to each side, the way each side can get some flavor on it. All right, guys, we've got our meat browned up, and you can see now it's got really nice color. Now it's got some nice little bits at the bottom of our pan there. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and put in our braising liquid. So I'm going to add in that entire carton of chicken stock. Now, you know, beef stock would be ideal, but chicken stock or even vegetable stock would work perfectly fine, because we are going to add more layers of flavor in here anyway. And then we're going to add in 4 cups of water as well. It takes a while for this beef to get tender, so we're going to braise it for an hour to 2 hours before we add anything else in there for real. So add in your stock, and then we're going to go ahead on and put in 4 cups of hot water as well. Once you get your water in, give it a good little stir. Then we're going to bring it up to a boil and then cover it. All right, guys, we've had our meat braising now for an hour, and we're just going to check it, check the tenderness. We're going to add in more water if need be, but this definitely still has a ways to go. Like I said, you want your meat to get almost fork tender before you begin to add anything else in, because it's not going to take long to build up your beef and noodles once the beef is tender. So again, we're just going to take some more hot water. I have another 4 cups of hot water, and we're going to add it in here and continue to let it cook. You want to put in hot water because you don't want to reduce the temperature of your boiling liquid. It'll make it take it a lot longer and make it a lot harder for your meat to get tender. So make sure you're putting in hot water when you're adding your liquid to your pot. All right, y'all, it's been another 45 minutes. We're going to go ahead on and check our beef again and make sure that it's where we want it to be, that it's tender to the tenderness that we want at this particular point. So I'm just going to pull out a piece of meat right now. I have a fork, and we're just going to take that fork and see if we can just cut right through it. And you see how tender it is now. So that's perfect. So what we're going to do now, we're going to add that back in, and we're going to begin to add in our peppers and onions. I added in the whole onion, and that was about 3/4 of a bell pepper that I had. And we're just going to add that in there, and we're going to put in, then we've added in 3 beef bouillon cubes. Crushed them up in order to be able to incorporate them really quickly into our liquid. And got those added in there. And then we're going to go ahead and begin to season it some more. So we're just going to add in more onion powder, garlic powder, and pepper. We're not going to add any salt at this time. We're going to rely on our bouillon and our condensed soup when we add that for salt at the moment. And then if we need to add a little bit more, then we can down the line. Gonna give it a good stir. All right, guys, it is smelling amazing. So now we're gonna also add in more liquid. So we're gonna add in a little bit more than we had at this time, that we had been doing previously. So I'm gonna add in about 6 cups of water. That was 4, and we're gonna add in another 2. Like I said, once you add in your egg noodles and stuff, it's gonna absorb a bunch of that liquid, but it also has been, a lot of the liquid has been evaporating. So you have to make sure that you keep an eye on that, because you do not want to cook all your liquid out of this at all. So once you got it stirred up, go ahead and add a little bit more liquid in to where you have about 6 cups. And then you're going to go ahead and cover it back up and just let those vegetables cook down for just a little bit. All right, guys, we've had our veggies rolling for about 20 minutes or so. So now we're going to go ahead on and begin to add in our veggies, our other veggies, our peppers and our peas and our sweet corn. I was not going to add them at first, but I just wanted to add a little color to it and a little bit of a different flavor. You get a little bit of sweetness from the peas and the corn. And granted, yes, I am not a fan of peas, but I don't mind them in roast, stews, and in beef and noodles. So that's why I added the carrots, the peas, and the sweet corn to it right now. We're also going to add in our condensed soups at this time. So we have the 1 can of cream of mushroom, and we have the 1 can of French onion soup. Really good flavor, and it's going to help with the creaminess of our broth, and it's going to help thicken it up as well. Because you can see it's pretty loose right now, but once we add in those condensed soups and we add in our noodles, it's definitely going to thicken up to the consistency that you would expect the beef and noodles to be like. It's going to give it a good stir. Make sure your soup is well incorporated. And again, cover it up and let it roll for about 15 or 20 minutes at a boil. All right, it's been another 15 minutes. So we're going to give the pan a nice stir. Make sure nothing is sticking or stuck to the bottom. And we're going to taste our broth. We're going to see what the flavor is right now, if we need to add anything before we add in our noodles. You want to make sure that you taste your food. You know, I don't care what recipe you're using or who you're following. You still want to taste it and make sure it's to your standards, because we all have different taste buds. Now I'm just going to add in just a pinch of salt. Needed just a hair of salt. And like I said, you want to wait kind of toward the end before you begin to add in your salt, because once you put too much in, you can never get it out, but you can always add to it. And we're going to put in a little bit more onion powder and a little bit more garlic. Stir it around. You could actually just eat it like it is. It tastes so good. It's just a really, really brothy vegetable soup. It tastes amazing. And we're going to add in our egg noodles now. We're going to go in a couple of handfuls at a time. We want to make sure that we get them all incorporated and that they're not sticking. So we're just going to add them in, give them a stir, and we're going to add some more in until we get the whole bag in the pot. I said these are amazing noodles. They don't cost much. I bought these at Walmart. I think they're $2.68 or something like that for the bag. And I just love these noodles. My kids like them too because they're really thick, they're really long, and they're just fun to eat and they taste delicious. So again, you're going to just keep stirring and adding until you get all of your noodles into the pot. All right, we've had our noodles rolling for about 10 minutes. And they're still a little bit too al dente for me, so we're just going to give them a stir. Make sure nothing's sticking and nothing's sticking to the pot. You want to scrape the bottom of this of your pot or your Dutch oven to make sure everything is nice and clear. And we're going to cover it up and continue to let it go. Now you can see that it's beginning to thicken up now, but it's still a little loose. The longer it cooks, the more it thickens up, and then when it cools some, it's going to thicken up even more. All right, guys. And that's your finished product. We've had the noodles going for about 15 minutes and everything is done now. You can see how those noodles are nice and soft, but yet and still not mushy. The corn, the peas, the carrots. This is a really, really delicious winter dish that sticks to your bones, and the kids love it too. It's fun to eat and it tastes good. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you give it a try. It is a truly amazing dish. It takes a little bit, but it's well worth the wait. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and God bless. Can't wait to see you next time.